Hey everyone, thanks so much for all your patience. Just gonna have a quick look through the chat. That's chat is saying that it's my mom checking in to see if I brushed my hair and did my teeth. Weed people, don't smoke weed anymore, it makes me too tired. Something about Minesweeper. My bot coming into the channel. Lawyer, I am innocent, I didn't do it. Promise. And some offers for a secretary answering machine or that. Yeah, awesome. And well, let's move back to the game. What happened is my girlfriend phoned. She has an important job interview tomorrow and was a little bit nervous, so you know, gotta talk some confidence into her. I think it worked. Hopefully she'll get it tomorrow, and well, for now let's not mind for that and continue playing KSP. A little bit out of breath because did some running. That needs no further explanation. Right. I see we have some new viewers. How that happened with nothing happening is a mystery to me, but welcome to y'all. We're here playing KSP Live, where we are attempting a shot for fame, orbit, space and beyond with better than starting manned and a smattering of realism mods. What we saw in episode 0 is that the limited part availability is a difficult problem to overcome. We will need to add an antenna, which we will do in symmetry because it actually carries some weight with it. And we'll need to carry a science experiment. We only have the thermometer, and even though the chat is saying that it doesn't have any mass, I don't believe it. It is expensive though, it's 3,150 funds. They're going to try and mount it straight in the middle. Well, just in the middle, not straight in the middle. Like on top here. And I'm going to rethink the placement of these antenna. Are they cheap? No, they're $1,000 each. And chat is saying that there is, as well, they're saying naughty things about a phone call and being out of breath. It had nothing to do with that. It's just my stamina is not what it used to be. I'm an old man, 80 years old. Let's not dwell on that. And no, there's no chutes, there's no parachutes here, so we can't recover any of this expensive hardware, which is one of the problems we have. Also, this solid booster cannot be throttled. That was disabled by better than starting manned as well. So I'm torn between using the action groups to put stuff on, use the science thing. I'm torn between adding more antenna for some weight and some reduction of G-forces, and not doing that. See, we have the rocket as it stands is 9,000. We have 12,000 in funds. I am gonna do it. I mean, if the rocket fails to deliver, we don't have anything anyway. So let us make it more expensive and heavier. We have some. Well, this is not aerodynamic balancing, of course. Making it heavier at the top is not going to help either way. We will have 4 antennae for a vessel that costs 11 grand, all our money, and we will mode. Ooh, yes. Good catch by the chat. I'm using the weird attachment mode that I never ever use except when in a new game. This might help, and maybe it will help with the placement here. Chat is asking what contract we're completing. The very first one, to launch a rocket which exceeds 5 kilometers. And well, I'm making a huge fuss over it, and you will see why in just a second. Let's call it the Grasshopper, as was suggested by the chat, and just without further ado, move it out to the launch pad. See, in this series we're using better than starting manned, which disables the tweaking of this solid booster. We are using Ferrum Aerospace, which adds consequences for G-forces and aerodynamic drag, and the lack of parts, and also the reason why I was adding more antennae than I strictly need, means that this is a very light probe core, which is going to be accelerated by a fairly hefty booster. This has in the testing phases, which you can see in the archives in episode 0. By the way, if you have missed episode 0, you can go ahead and check out my YouTube channel. I'm spamming that in the chat now. You can check that out and see the archives there for stuff that you missed. So for now we're going to activate SAS, even though this doesn't have any torque, because, you know, this is better than starting manned. We've wasted 10 electricity units already by talking, which is actually a problem. For science, if we hit the thermometer now, you can see it gives 0 science. Better than starting manned, made everything a fair bit harder. Here we go. Going up, and I hope that we're gonna go straight up. That gives us at least a chance at escaping the death by drag. And here, if I try to toggle the thermometer again, it tells me the altitude is too low to collect useful data, which is a bit of a problem, because we want that data. And because we don't have parachutes, we're not going to be able to float gently down. It does seem as though we're gonna head up, that's good. Well, here we finished the contract for the first rocket, that's also good. And we should finish the one for altitude now, but it's not. It's not doing that. I don't know why that happens, but it happens. So I'm going to spam the science thing, transmit that. It doesn't seem as though we're going to explode just yet. We did the science, wonderful. Things are looking terrible. We're almost through the booster, so please stay in one piece. Oh, damn it, the sensor bought it. That's what you get for going super fast upwards. There is a problem with the altitude record, though. It could be that this requires a manned vessel, and in that case we're screwed with the better than starting manned stuff. It could also be that there's something else amiss here. That's actually like a bug in the... Well, not a bug, because Real Solar System hasn't been vetted for 0.24 yet. It could be that the problem is with that, with the integration of Real Solar System and the 0.24 version. We are going pretty high actually now that we're through the boost phase and those things are going well. Our apoapsis reads as 90 kilometers, and the goal for today's episode was to get out of the atmosphere. You might think we made it, but the atmosphere in the Real Solar System extends all the way up to, well, at least almost to 200 kilometers, so we haven't actually done that. Unfortunately, because our thermometer burns off at the last second, there is quite literally nothing we can do with this at this point. I mean, it would crash back down to the planet, obliterating any chance of recovering and gaining science that way, and it doesn't have a thermometer anymore. So we got 4 science points. Hopefully that's something we can unlock something interesting with, and hopefully, well, look at that, we got 5,680 funds. Hopefully that's something we can finance a rocket with. And hopefully we can get a contract that will allow us to get some cash, because I really was counting on this thing to work. That is a bit of a problem. Seeing how we're not going to be able to do anything anymore, I'm going to time warp. We'll soon see this electric charge deplete to 0, and well, then the rocket will crash. Yeah, chat is saying that they think that we need a Kerbal to go to 5 kilometers to get the reward. If that's the case, then we're in trouble, because we can't launch Kerbals yet. And indeed, we are in a Real Solar System. This is proving to be quite a challenge. See, there we go. Some stuff burns up, and here goes the rest. That's the danger of his suborbital hop, where he goes straight up and down. Aerodynamic stresses are huge upon return. Right. So we got a smattering of science. And let's see if we can do anything with that. Oh, we got some science for the first flight as well. So we can definitely get this. 4 science points. And we can get the battery. Nice. The potato battery. The Kestis 1.5 solid booster. And the Prasmat barometer, which we can use to get more science, which is good, I suppose. Let's research that. And is there anything that costs 5 science? nothing of the sort. Let's have a look at the contract building, whether there's nothing that will... I mean, we could get an escape the atmosphere contract going to mooch that advance. Here, they say that they want us to launch a vessel. I hope that doesn't count. That doesn't mean there has to be a Kerbal in it. Because this here says we want you to launch a new vessel to set a new altitude record. That doesn't mention a Kerbal either. I think with the new booster we can make this a vessel to beyond the edge of the atmosphere at 70 kilometers. Also, the atmosphere is not at 70 kilometers anymore. So I wonder if this is going to count at 70 or is going to count the atmosphere. One thing's for certain, we need the advance, so let's just get it. We're working on borrowed money here. Indeed, we are going to VAB, as the chat suggests, and we will have to make a rocket here that will escape the atmosphere. We have the Kestis 1.5 SRB unlocked. It's got pretty much the same specs as this one. Actually, a slightly worse specific impulse. But this one mounts on the side, so we can actually make a, well, not a true multi-stage rocket, but we can go like this and have a surrogate multi-stage rocket. Wait, oh, these are smaller as well. This already costs 9,450 credits. We're going to do it like this, where the first two boosters fire and then afterwards the center booster will fire. Hopefully this will make everything heavy enough to, well, not immediately disintegrate. Let's see. The Pot 1 battery. This is fairly cheap. Let's mount a sensor first. The Presmat barometer is definitely not cheap. We can't afford that. We can afford a thermometer, which we will stick on top here. Obviously, we also need a communitron. Are we going to put 2? If we put 2, it's more expensive, but also our rocket will be balanced. We have exactly one shot of getting this space program off the ground. So we are going to use 2 communitrons and put them here for symmetry. This thing needs to go out of the atmosphere and needs to get credit for it as well. If it doesn't get credit, I don't know what we're going to do. We won't be able to. We still have nothing to control a rocket. That could be a problem. That, well, pretty much guarantees to be a problem, to be honest. But we'll see how that goes. We are now at 14,700. Can we use a battery? Can we use 2 batteries? Because we kind of want to bring them along to do more, to enable more transmissions. Chat is asking why I put the thermometer there when it explodes, which is a very good question. I was putting it there because then I only need 1 for symmetry, and they're expensive. And if I put it like this, I need to pay for 2. But the exploding thing is a good point. I am hoping that this rocket will go slower because it's heavier and thus not explode. But it is a good point. We could try and gamble with just the 1. How heavy is the battery? It's 0.05 and this is 0.025. So if we put them opposite one another, there's the same imbalance as putting this on one bit. I could hide it here. Or maybe I could just actually put it on the bottom of the pod. That would be nice. Ooh, now it's hidden inside. I'm not sure if that's allowed, but as long as I can select it, put that on the 1 action group. This is nice. Our pod now has an internal thermometer. I'm liking that. Except that now the stuff won't attach anymore. Damn it! Can't catch a free lunch any time of the week here. That's a problem. Yeah, so that didn't work out, unfortunately. We're gonna have to put a singular one like here then. Did that preserve the action group? Yeah. Yeah, that's still action grouped. I kind of need the battery. Can we do... We'll have to try and deal with one antenna because we only have money for the one. Is that the middle? Center of thrust? Yeah, I can make the camera so that works. That's not a real good method. It also means we can upgrade our battery count to 4. There, that's spending all the money again, but we will have some battery power for control and transmission of this science data. I'm gonna call this the last hope. Right, I'm gonna give the chat minute or 30 seconds to veto any aspect of this rocket, and then I'm gonna go ahead and launch it, and then if it fails and everything dies and the program withers, at least it's a joint responsibility. So chat, anything you want to change on this rocket? We have about 400 funds remaining, and we have to get out of the atmosphere, and we have to convince the investors or the contractors to pay us. Chat is asking if we have a girder or something to shield the probe core. We do not. We have these two kinds of boosters. We have no control things. We have no girders. We have no wings. We have the batteries. We have the sensors and stuff, and that's it. Nothing else. I am hoping though that because last mission the thermometer exploded because of overspeeding, these boosters here burn for shorter. What I'm gonna hope is that these two will not overspeed, and then I can coast until our speed reaches a more reasonable level, and then I can launch the center booster, which will be significantly higher up than before. And I think that will save us from burning up. Chat is vetoing the color. It should be green. Can we change the color? How does that work? I don't know how to change the color. How do we change the color of the flag? You have a green squad logo. Ooh. In changing the color of the flag, the whole rocket is breaking apart. I'm gonna wheel it out to the launch pad. Any vetoes have just a few seconds left to be voiced. Right, here we are. Let's test our thermometer. Here we go, it works, except... You wonder if anyone would believe this reading actually came from the moon and save you the trip. Well, no, they probably wouldn't believe that, would they? Right. Fingers crossed, everyone. Chat is reassuring me you can't actually change the color of the ships. Well, thanks for that wild goose change. A wild goose chase. I can't really speak anymore. Also, my batteries have reverted to being just 2 batteries. Oh well. Is the rest of the thing still working? I think so. Right, fingers crossed. 3, 2, 1. Ignition. I am very, very scared. We are listing quite badly. I am pressing the control buttons. Nothing is happening. We are sort of stabilizing in this direction. Is that really the influence of just this thermometer? That is the question. We are going really fast. The boosters are almost boosted out. Then we can coast. Please boost out without exploding. Here we are. Let's slow down a little bit. Try some science. Altitude is too low. Right. Let's slow down without exploding. Let's slow down without exploding. Let's slow down without exploding. We're at 13 kilometers. I'm starting the second booster. Go. We're accelerating now at more G's. We are not really going up anymore. I'm trying to steer, but this rocket does not have any control authority. Oh shit. the battery things aren't symmetrical anymore is what the chat is saying. Well, they should be symmetrical over the thrust axis, but maybe that's the problem. That's the problem. We're allowed to... Ooh, things are exploding. That's not good. Temperature scan has been done. Oh, and there we go. Dead. 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 Well, that sucked. Back to the Space Center. This didn't go straight up. We are at 900 funds. Mission control. Oh, we got to test a parachute. They will pay us 1,000 credits in advance, and they will loan us a parachute, which would have been amazing just a mission or two ago. I don't think we can do this, you guys, because of money. We would need to go up, and there's only one way to go up, which is in this extremely high-powered rocket, which will burn up things that are mounted on top of it. Where is the... Also, we can't mount this on top of it. Yes, that is a problem now. That is a problem now. Alright. Alright. Yes, so we are broke. This is not happening. Let's time accelerate a little bit and see if there's new contracts. Wow, that was a while. I forgot about the fast nature of persistent time acceleration. Let's go to day 100. Here we go. And no new contracts. I think we're screwed. I think the space program has failed. We're out of funds. It's game over. Right. Alt F12 time. Chat is saying I could have limited the thrust of the rocket. That's the thing. Better than starting man takes away that handy capability because they reason that would be too easy. That is a big pain. That is quite a big pain. So, I suppose we could try this again. We will try this again. Let's try this again. If we hide the thermometer under the pod better, make it symmetrical, which will be more expensive but could work, then maybe we have a chance. Let's try this again. Let's try this again. New save game time. New save game time. Space, let's just call it KSP Live 2. Chat is suggesting to drop better than starting manned. Actually, I'm quite enjoying the challenge it gives, and I'm hoping that we can somehow make it work. I'm also gonna accept this because that first rocket made it past 70 kilometers. If we can only make it not explode. Right. It seems everyone in chat is in favor of dropping better than starting manned. I'm gonna try just one more time to make this work. If it doesn't, then we'll drop it and start out with the good old Jebediahs. Right, so the grasshopper. I think we can reduce the antennae to 2 just to save funds. 12.5 grand for this. Chat is saying I forgot an important contract. I think that's the 5 kilometer one. That doesn't trigger on the unmanned launch, but we shall have a look at that nonetheless. Maybe it will work this time around. And if the other one also doesn't work, we'll just call Real Solar System incompatible and go on with our lives without Better Than Starting Man and launch People, which is, of course, is also fun. But for now, I'm gonna give this one more go because I don't know how to quit. Did I put the... No, I didn't put the thermometer in a action group. Oh well, if all goes well, the thing doesn't explode. Here we go. Here we go, launching upwards. Things look surprisingly stable this time around. I think this thermometer carries an actual physical weight in these mods. Because we're going so straight up, that was uncannily crooked the last go. So let's try the temperature. We have to keep our fingers crossed now to not burn up. We are going straight up. We'll encounter rarefied air a little bit faster than last time. Maybe that will be the ticket into not exploding. We're also a little bit lighter, so we're accelerating faster, which is dangerous. Which also means we're going higher faster, which is safer. Also, the thermometer is tucked away. That might not actually explode due to overheating. Oh god, well, the whole thing exploded due to G-forces. Fuck. Right on, we'll save Better Than Starting Man for a time. The chat is scolding me for jinxing it. We'll save Better Than Starting Man for a time when things are, no, let's call it more balanced for Real Solar System and 0.24. I will remove it. And we shall see how we get on without it. So sit tight whilst I do that. I'll be right back. Well, Better Than Starting Man is out. Somewhat unfortunately, I quite liked the approach of that mod, giving you, giving less options in the beginning, just a big motor and a probe core. That's it, really. Where you have to actually go somewhere rather than the launch pad to get science. But it was rather unworkable. The chat is saying that I could have done a gravity turn. Actually, no, because there was zero control authority on the, well, we could call it a vessel, but more of a missile. Casper VLD, one of the moderators from the forums, the KSP forums, in chat now, asking if this is the first time streaming KSP. It is not actually the first time, but it's one of the first times. I've done some XCOM streaming, archives of that are on the YouTube channel as well. Well, as I posted on the forums, I'm trying to do a hybrid thing now, where I stream the game in a sort of episodic format, where we set a goal for every stream. Today it's getting out of the atmosphere, which is a little bit harder than it sounds because we're playing in Real Solar System, and well, then I'll export that to YouTube for archive viewers later on. I do intend to do that a little bit more regularly. But there is no set schedule, unfortunately. Cool, cool. Glad to have you in the chat. I want to be in that featured streamer spot on the forums, but no pressure for that, obviously. For now, though, let's get back to the game for a second. So now we have, without Better Than Starting Man, we have, as our mods, we have Deadly Reentry for a little bit of difficulty. We have Ferrum Aerospace for some aerodynamic joy. We have Real Solar System for those larger planets and thicker atmospheres. We have a higher part cost. I tweaked it at 3.5 times the stock cost for a little bit more difficulty. We have the Squad NASA patch, the asteroid redirect mission, and we have some flavor mods like Final Frontier, which gives Kerbals awards and ribbons. So let's have a look at a new game. Call that KSP Live once more. Oh yeah, we can override that because it had no funds remaining. Well, thank you for everyone in the chat for liking the stream, the channel, and my striking winning personality. Thank you so much. I try to keep humble, but, you know, with all these rockets exploding, it's very, very difficult indeed. Anyway, mission control building. Mission control building. Hard to select due to the real solar system induced jitters. A small price to pay for an otherwise awesome mod. Oh, cool! I was in the feature streamer spot for a few seconds a few minutes ago while I was testing something. Maybe that's where everyone is from. That's nice. Thanks, Casper. If you came here through the forums, welcome. I do KSP things. And today we're going to launch a new vessel and we're going to breach the altitude record of 5 kilometers. And we're going to do so with a Kerbal at the helm because no more of this better than starting manned malarkey. Starting manned is good, damn it. Right, one of the things then that's now part of the rebranded KSP live stream is that we're safety oriented. We'll call the rocket the safety one and we'll need Jebediah to survive. We will do things in the spirit of the the better than starting manned fiasco, where we start with a solid booster and nothing else. We will, however, thrust limit it because this handy tool has been returned to us. And do we have any science? Unfortunately not. We have to rely on the excuse me, on the Kerbal at the helm for that, obviously. Now, cost is still a factor. This simple rocket will clock in at 5.7 grand. Let's see. Chat is saying that I should get can get in the featured streamer spot by sending MaxMap and Raspberry PM. I shall do that. But for now, let's launch Jebediah into, well, not space, but let's at least launch him into the air for a bit. We're trying to reach 5 kilometers. The stream on KSP TV. Misreading the chat because I'm not good at multitasking. I will read that later and for now focus on launching Jebediah. Of course, Jebediah will do a crew report from the launch pad as well as an ooh, he's depleted from everything. As well as an EVA report for those beginning sciences. And let's launch. We will angle away from the launch pad a bit so that we may land in a biome that has previously been unexplored. We're going frighteningly fast. I thought I tweaked the thrust output. I hope I actually did. This is dangerously fast. Hopefully Jebediah is not going to die on the first mission. We did do the 5 kilometer contract though, which is good. Let's get a crew report. No, we don't want to overwrite the crew report. Actually we do. Because this one will be more valuable. Keep it. Come on Jebediah, don't die. Parachute, don't explode. Oh god. Oh shit. Okay, the vessel survived, but it was so powerful that the parachute died. Oh god. So yeah, that's the safety one, guys. That went really well. We did go fairly high. We're going to 48-ish kilometers. I don't think we actually brought an antenna. Oh god. Luck is not with the program this time around. Fortunately, we did perform well in the contracts. We got the altitude record of 5 kilometers. We launched our first vessel, so we do actually have some funds. We've got 13 grand, and I think it's safe to say that we won't get any recovered parts back. We won't have a safe landing. Also, Jebediah doesn't have an antenna, so he can't radio anything back. Oh man, that's painful. So yeah, nothing to it. We also left the atmosphere. So, oh, we didn't leave the atmosphere because we're still in the real solar system. I forgot about that. We removed better than starting manned, but we didn't actually leave the atmosphere. I wonder if how the game counts that though, because the leaving the atmosphere contract is 70,000 meters, and we did exceed that. Doesn't matter anyway because we didn't actually take the contract. Chat is saying I should have drained some fuel from the booster. That would have worked. That would have worked for sure. What I'm going to do instead of that is draining more thrust, or well, actually tweaking the thrust to be even lower, because that way we do get the altitude, we do get the nice flight, but hopefully we don't accelerate so crazily fast that we actually end up burning parts from our nose, which is a bit silly. If we got the science from the contracts though, maybe we don't even have to worry about it and we can just get some decouplers going. But we will have to take care about not spending too many funds. I keep forgetting that because it's a new feature. So maybe... No, we'll see what contracts pop up and then we can make the cheapest rocket to perform those. Unfortunately, today has not been a day of achievement and prowess. It has been a day of failure and death. Death as of from right this moment. Right, let's go to the Space Center. Do we get like a mission overview like this, that we lost reputation? Can we see that we lost reputation anywhere? Or is the reputation so low already that they don't matter? Right, new contracts. We have inspired courage and progress. Right, we need to activate the parachute between 19 kilometers and 25 kilometers. So our mission will be to that altitude exactly. No. Our mission will be... Yes, our mission will be to that altitude exactly. Boom. Stack decoupler in flight at the same altitude. That's actually nice, because that means that we can combine them. So let's try that. Oh god, we might need to use a liquid engine for this. Or we could go for... No, we're gonna go for the escape the atmosphere thing. I mean, come on, that's too good. We get 29 grand if we do that. So let's try that. Out into space. The problem with that, if we do it and we fall straight back down, I think it will burn up. Anyway, we will not mind about that until it happens. We now have decouplers, experimental decouplers. That's good. That means we can have a booster on top that is thrust limited to a very low number, like 21. It also means we should add an extra heat shield for coming back down. That costs only 700 after all. I know the pod is supposed to have a heat shield built in, but I don't trust that heat shield, so we're gonna do it like this. And this appears to be like a very simple rocket, but I think this will actually make it out of the atmosphere. We'll combine these, and then yeah, then we'll have the parachute over here and the heat shield will be dropped there. With any luck, the safety 2 will perform well and get us some money. Okay, we are trying to test the parachute. That means that we should be at 610 meters per second or slower once coming down below 25 kilometers. I don't think that's gonna happen. This might happen. The stack decoupler, that would be nice. And we should reach space. Space is the trigger here, so I think that will work with the real solar system definition of it. We'll see how well that works out. Come on, Bill, off you go. If we manage to reach space, we have some funds to play with and perform actual missions with. This first booster is now firing at full power, and everything is not exploding because there's now a second booster on top that will slow things down to a more reasonable pace. Actually, it's completely possible that this rocket will backfire the other way, where this booster is throttled back too far, and hey, my thrust limiting isn't really working. Oh wait, I will find that out soon. Right, flying 20 kilometers, we will actually not make that, I don't think. 20 and then traveling at 70. No, we will not make that. So we'll forego the separator test and fire off the booster now. Now this is a very, very tiny booster. I mean, the size would belie it, but it's firing at only 50 kilonewtons. That will make it fire for a long time, though. We're just barely maintaining speed, very, very slightly accelerating. And I hope that this very low thrust, long duration stamina booster, as it's now branded, might just reach space. And if it does, then oh, we can test this next level stuff, because if we test the decoupler now, we get the contract, and the rocket will continue to go up because of the... What? I did it! Damn it, I wanted to decouple the thing so the contract would fire, and we would still go up because the booster is pushing us up. That's gonna work. But the contract didn't recognize that I fired it. Oh, I have to fire it through the staging menu. Damn it, I fired it with the right mouse key. Oops. One of my loyal viewers, Rule, popping into the chat to say hi. Hello, Rule. We have some more viewers tonight who are all very welcome and encouraged to subscribe, actually. Do you all play KSP? What do you think of the stream tonight? Are there any mods that you want to see in the next installment? Those are the questions I have for you. And, well, I will provide you with suitable answers once queried. Right, I'm completely forgetting to do science. Let's do science. 3.5 science points to transmit, because we're aiming to get down safely, so we can at least attempt to store multiple records in the capsule once it floats back to the planet. With the separation of that decoupler, we have now no way to see how this booster is doing, and there's also no way to tell how long it will be boosting for. We can peek at the map view though and see that our apoapsis is still only 104 kilometers, so I hope it keeps going for a while, because as you know, we want to reach space, and that has not triggered yet. And if I recall correctly, space in this game, in the real solar system, starts at about 190 kilometers, which we will patently not make today. That's a shame. That is a big shame, because while 129 kilometers is certainly nice, and respectable, it is not space. We will not get money for it. So it is of vital importance that we get science home, so we can unlock more stuff and at least get something done. And I think 109 kilometers is high enough to allow Bill to go on EVA and get an EVA report from there and store that in his capsule. And now the second tier big question becomes, what will become of Bill's heat shield on the way down? Because this re-entry is the most hazardous you can have. Straight down into a thick atmosphere. 129 kilometers does not do it. Atmospheric pressure stops in the real solar system, if I recall correctly from my KSP to Mars series, stops at about 190 kilometers, just a hair short of 200. So I hope that this space thing grabs correctly the new data from the real solar system. It has not been vetted for 0.24. I think it will. But To make sure, we'll have to exceed at least 200 kilometers of altitude. Right. Plummeting down. We shall see whether the heat shield survives this. Oh shit. I'm changing attitude with the RCS, with the SAS system, which is all but depleted. That will be a problem soon. We'll trust the pod's aerodynamic shape to keep it, well, pointing upright. If you look at the speed here, it's increasing rapidly. We're currently at 500 meters per second, and that will increase to horrendous levels once we hit the thicker atmosphere. We do have a heat shield, but I fear for Bill Kerman. He's in essence falling from 129 kilometers in altitude straight down onto the planet. That is a big problem. Also, the electric charge has been depleted, which is not that big of a problem, but well, the game was kind enough to tell us that. Was that the spent booster? It's now floating over us. We're slightly less aerodynamic than it. The other way around, we're slightly more aerodynamic than it. We're falling like a brick, whereas the booster is falling like a leaf, sort of. Bill will shortly experience a profound spike of G-forces starting now, and we shall see whether he can deal with that. The heat shield is also ablating. Oh, he can deal with that surprisingly well, and the heat shield can as well. After all, we're not coming in with 10 kilometers per second. We are coming in at just over 1.5, and this is proceeding surprisingly less catastrophic than I was expecting. This is actually going completely fine. All we have to do is pop the parachute now, and Bill should come down without any actual trouble. So there's that. That's nice. Chat is saying to land Bill on the head in EVA, which is something I've heard from the forums that can work, but not actually anything I've ever made work, so I'm not going to try that. And well, in any case, it seems to be working just fine like this. Right. Let's apply a smidgen more time warp. Even though I'm still very much afraid of deploying parachutes in time warp. That is just a scary proposition. I could detach this heat shield, but I kind of want to recover it for the money, because money is very much a problem. We still have 19 grand, but we didn't actually make it to space this time, so we're gonna have to try that again with a slightly bigger rocket, which, you know, will cost money and stuff. So let's have Bill grab a surface sample, shall we, from this swamp. 9 science from that. That's one of the things I really quite like about Better Than Starting Man, that it removes this kind of cheesy science gathering. But anyway, that mod really didn't have any cards for us in there. Yeah, Bill's alive. He kinda had to swim in the swamp here, but he is alive, and we're going to recover the vessel. And after that, ooh, look at that! Ooh, we got ribbons. Nice. We got Bill Kerbin surface EVA ribbon. First landing on Kerbin ribbon. G-Force 6 ribbon. Dangerous EVA ribbon. Awarded for executing EVA while not in a stable orbit. 10% solid fuel booster. Oh, he launched the booster ship. Nice one. Right, and we got science from this mission. We got some parts back. We got some money back from that. Actually, quite a bit. That's nice. And of course, Bill Kerman brought it home. So we can do some science. Basic stuff here. Stack decoupler. Yes, let's get that. And we have 25 points remaining. We want the radial decoupler. Yes, we do. And that's it. That's all we can buy. Nice. That means that we can now start construction on the Safety 3. Safety 3. Built, of course, with the utmost safety in mind. This is the first rocket that will actually have an escape stage. And that's also why the top stage is going to consist of a booster. And yes, that's not as crazy as it seems. That's going to be a booster thrust limited at just about 20%, because you know that's the one that will take us all the way to space if things go well. We will then also have a. It's a ridiculously bad idea to have a booster as a upper stage, but oh well, I kind of want to. Also, yeah, the boosters are quite a lot cheaper. Yeah, that's still a good decision. The boosters are lots cheaper. Reason enough, reason enough. Right, we'll have this as a full booster, and then we'll have 3 side boosters. Wow, these decouplers are so expensive. Oh shit. We'll have no choice but to use them though. And we have a bit of funds. I think this ought to work. Wow, these nose cones are also really expensive. We're not gonna use that. Winglets are also super. Everything is super expensive. We have goo canisters now for extra science. Well, our first concern on this mission is definitely not science, but it's funds. Oh, but we will get certain stuff back, of course. So, yeah, we can bring the goo if we can afford it first time around. Right. We can stash the pod full of expensive stuff because if all goes well, we will recover that and get refunds for it. That's my reasoning in any case. Alright, so we'll have 2 boosters to launch with, then 1 to continue with, and then 1 to finish off with. Seems like a plan. And let's add an extra decoupler, just so we may actually use the heat shield. Chat is saying that the goo will burn up like this. It might on the way down. I think it won't on the way up, because we'll have a little bit more reasonable speed, because we have a heftier vessel. But yeah, I'm afraid of carrying the goo. Also, we can't afford any mass penalties, because, you know, we're trying to make it to space. So, will this configuration take us all the way there? Actually, I think it will. This is clearly not a nice configuration. This will need to be separated at a later time. Safety 3. Okay, and our abort stage, which is what I was going on about, our abort stage will consist of firing this booster and this decoupler, hopefully causing us to be able to fly away from the ship. I can't make it throttle this booster back to full strength, but oh well. Can't have everything. Let's give the safety 3 a shot, see if it will make it to orbit. And after this flight I'm gonna have a break to catch my breath, have some drinks, and prepare the next episode of the stream. And see if I want some more mods or not, and well, if I can get some fresh air going, because it's pretty hot in here. All things of no concern to Twitch viewers and Rocketeers alike, so let's just set off and fly up into space. Nice compression on that rocket. This double full strength booster is causing me frightful problems already. Maybe that was a little bit stronger than was strictly required. I hope we won't actually burn up again. This is scary. Chat is saying I could put the goo inside a girder between the pod and the heat shield, which is a great idea, but it's kinda too late now because we're already flying. Right, and we'll fire the second booster just as we decelerate a little bit. There we go. And here's hoping that this contraption will actually take us to space today. We don't care so much about the science, we care about the achievements, and hopefully the extra altitude and thus braking vigor won't ruin Bill's day. I think things are looking good. We're approaching 1 kilometer per second in upward speed already, and we still have a whole booster to sustain that speed for a good bit of time. So let's just fire that off And here we go. This is boosting at just about 1G, which doesn't do much for speed apart from keeping it up. So hopefully this will take it all the way to the boundary of space. Hopefully the game will recognize that we did so, pay us out money, and make our day a happy one. In the meantime, while we wait for this booster to do its boosting, allow me to spam you with some promotional messages in the chat. Feel free to ignore it. I think most of y'all have the game already, but if you don't, if you're watching and think like, gee, this looks like a fun game, I really want to play it, check out the link I just put in the chat. It has a great demo. You can get that for free, or if you decide to purchase through this link, you will support me with $1 or $2, and it doesn't cost you a dime extra. So if you're considering buying the game, you do me a favor by doing it through here. Otherwise, have a nice day. Either way, continue watching, continue playing the demo, or your purchased copy that you already have. That's my promotional message. Back to the rocket. Kilometer per second, 103 kilometers up. Booster half full yet. Things are going well. Chat is asking what mods I'm running today. We had Better Than Starting Manned, but that actually made it impossible combined with the rest of the realism mods we had, so that went out the window. We're left now with Deadly Reentry, which will become spectacular in just a short while. We have Kerbal Engineer, which we haven't used as of yet. It's a readout that gives you delta V and mass information in the VAB. We have Ferrum Aerospace that tweaks the aerodynamics for more realism and generally more difficulty. We have HigherPartCost, and I set that to 3.5 times stock cost, so our stuff is more expensive. We have the squad mod of the 23.5 asteroid thing. Whether you want to call that a mod or not is up to you. We have Final Frontier, a thing that tracks Kerbal's individual process and awards them ribbons. And we have the real solar system, which makes this handy, nice, large solar system. And we have the custom biomes that modify Kerbin's biomes for a real solar system. Chat is saying now that I should turn over to the horizon, which is completely reasonable, but is something that I didn't get to do as I was listing off mods. So that was a completely warranted tip, comment, or piece of advice, which I didn't do because I was busy in other screens looking at the mods I had installed. So maybe Bill will die for the sake of information. We will find out soon. I've got good news though. The Reach space mission has been achieved, and that's awarded us funds. So we have roughly the same funds as we had a second ago. It's just that now we still have a chance of recovering some of the cost of this vessel. Oh wait, we should get science from space, obviously. Keep the data. Let's grab an EVA report as well. This is important stuff. Oh, I also have TSE life support. I forgot to mention that. And I can transmit one thing, I think. Yeah, let's transmit the EVA report. Ah, depleted. Let's get a fresh EVA report then. I don't know how the game treats those partially transmitted reports, but better safe than sorry. Oh, that was really stupid, because now the electricity is depleted and we don't have reaction wheel control anymore. So we have to count on aerodynamics alone to point our pod upright. Or we could nudge it with Bill, yes. Bill is going to nudge the pod upright. And he will have like a few seconds to do so before re-entry fries him and the pod. Right. Now he has to unnudge it, so it stops rotating. There, slight nudge. Was that enough of a nudge? Let's see. This was possibly a very bad idea. Also possibly a brilliant one. This is external AS. This is EAS. External attitude control. Can we fire the jets whilst on the ladder? No. Right, hopefully this has put the pod upright with the heat shield facing down. It hasn't. It has incurred rotation into the pod. That might be a problem. We will find out soon as we're plummeting down at almost 2 kilometers per second. Previous re-entry, which went fine, was at 1.5 kilometers per second. And this one is looking to be at something like 2.5 kilometers per second. Bill might very well die. I might have to deploy the parachute as well to ensure proper attitude, which could be a very, very hazardous proposition at 2 kilometers per second. Or screw could be, definitely is a hazardous proposition to deploy the parachute at this altitude, at this speed. That will most likely incur such G-forces as to rip Bill Kerman to shreds. Fortunately, the engineers of this grand pod have designed it in an aerodynamic fashion. Look at that, it is self-righting in an airflow. That is great news. We will see about Bob. Actually, it's Bill, already naming his successor. That's maybe not a good sign. We are experiencing catastrophic G-forces. Hopefully he will live. If that is starting to hit the maximum, I will pop the parachute in case he dies. Parachute has deployed. Bill is not looking happy. He's reaching the crew G limit. G's are falling below 5. I think he'll live. That was really close. Chat is saying deploy the chute as at 15 Gs as always. For those of you that are watching for the first time, in my previous series, which you can see on the YouTube channel, we have had several hairy re-entries like this, and it has become standard practice to have the Kerbals pull the chutes, even though it may be a bit early, once the G levels are starting to become critical, because then even if they die, the pod with the science may survive. Fortunately, Bill did survive this time. In our safety-oriented space program, we only lost 1 life in 3 launches so far, so our rate is pretty terrible. But then again, we did make progress, we made some money, we made some science, and we're looking to recover even the most expensive parts of the ship, so that's all going well. Parachute is deployed, don't worry about it. Here we go. Gently floating to the surface as we are used to. I'm going to hang on to the heat shield for maximum recovery value. And I think, ladies and gentlemen, dear viewers and watchers, I think that concludes episode 1, because we have escaped the atmosphere. We've had to start 2 separate space programs and ditch a mod to do it, but we did it. Nice. So there is that. This first episode of KSP Live was, in my opinion, a resounding success. Let's get another crew report. Let's not actually overwrite the crew report from space. We could have had many more reports, but then again I was fairly busy with not dying and being excited for that. So yeah, EVA report from the shores. Crew report from the shores, yes, maximizing the science through cheese. Recovering the vessel. Yeah, Chad is saying that Bill made it twice, Bob should have a go, and he wants to earn some ribbons as well. Let's see what Bill got. Bill got... ooh, the first 0G ribbon. He got the first EVA in space ribbon. He got the first Kerbal in space ribbon. And he got the 20% solid fuel booster ribbon awarded for launching with solid fuel booster mass of 20%. Nice. And of course lots of science. Some money from the parts. Actually lots of money from the parts. And Bill Kerman available for a new mission. Nice. So we have here, where is our funds? Our funds, we have 41 grand. The mission for the next episode, which will commence in after a short break I will take. The mission for next episode will be to establish orbit, and for you new viewers that may sound like a lame goal, but do take into account we are playing in the real solar system. That means orbital altitude is at least 190 kilometers and orbital speed is at least 7.7 kilometers per second. We will attempt all this with a part list of not more than the following: basic engines, solid boosters, no control, no aerodynamic, actually some aerodynamic stuff, one type of parachute, and a very limited arsenal of science equipment. Also, our parts will cost 3.5 times what they do in the stock game, and our success is absolutely not assured. I'm going to take a small break, count on about 15 minutes for that, and then, hell, it might be a lot sooner. I just need to water my throat and have a snack. Then I will return for episode 2 of KSP Live, where we will attempt to establish orbit around the real solar system Earth. Thanks for watching so far, bearing with me through some delays and technical difficulties, sorting out mods and all that. And as I just said, I'll be right back for episode 2.